We're talking about Ashton Hall. A trend goes viral. I'm like, okay, why? Because now the whole world's getting the blue. Show them the blue bottle that triggered this whole thing. There it is. That's the Ashton Hall, the most viewed person on the planet right now.
Delicious.
Is it a challenge? Because it almost feels like the ice bucket challenge, where you put a cold thing of ice in a bucket every morning and you dip your head in it, and then you rub bananas on your face and cucumbers on your feet. I don't know what he's doing, but it's a whole series of things. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I don't know about the banana peel. The ice bucket, though.
I get it, inflammation, right? But just on the face, or is that better than nothing? Or
it's good for your nervous system. So for some people, the face is going to be the most effective. For other people, full body.
Looking at the world of biohacking, this is a really sticky topic. People want to know. This is a lot of popular stuff, but is this just the next wave of money? You know what I mean? The next trends that drive dollars to a bottom line with some creative genius behind the scenes pulling all the strings. I always wonder that, and that's why the why is so important, right?
I think Dave Asprey coined the term biohacking. That kind of insinuates that you're working against it. I like the term more of like biooptimization. How can we optimize what's already in our body?
What is sucralose?
Greek. I was just telling Grayson, because I said, "Oh, your name. I love your name. I have two nephews named Grayson," and I was like, "My name's pretty just like typical." I go, "But actually, my name is actually Avdamandia."
That's really beautiful.
Yeah. Avdamandia Sukuli. If you're like. Yeah. If you're like, if you're a Greek.
This is an entry point into the podcast.
We're recording, right?
We're recording. Let's make it work, Colton.
Yeah, just edit it the way I want it.
Listen, guys, we're podcasting right now. It's been a while for me.
That was amazing. Can you talk more about that?
Yeah. So
Yeah, let's talk about it.
I got my Greek citizenship this year, and yeah, it was super exciting. And my grandfather, he immigrated to Canada when he was 18, hopped on a boat, and then from there, they got pregnant with my dad, moved to the United States, and so because my grandfather is still alive, in Greek culture, you're able to get your citizenship. So my dad had to go back and draw the entire family tree.
Wow.
So we're from ancient Corinth. We still have a home there. And so because my dad got it, automatically passed down to my sisters and I.
Wow. So
Yeah.
say it again.
Avdamandia Sukuli.
Oh, man. Was that hard for you to remember as a child? Your own name? Growing up in America? You know what I'm saying?
Well, very quickly we just said, "You're Amanda."
Okay.
But now I'm like, no, I'm not just Amanda, I'm Avdamandia.
Yeah. So if you just went around town telling people that, what kind of response do you get on their face? I'd just act serious. Oh, yeah, my idea.
They say, well, what is that?
We should try. This could be like a hidden camera show.
Yeah, let's start doing it.
It's really cool, though. I actually really love it. All right, you guys. I'm going to just make the formal announcement here in case we're doing the pre-show banter that often is probably the easiest way to enter any kind of podcast, I promise. But we got Amanda Tsoukalis here. Amanda's a functional medicine nutrition practitioner. She helps peak performers uncover the root cause of chronic health systems through precision testing so they can optimize their health. And I'll just say I've known Amanda long enough here to recognize that she definitely is an asset for any high performer. If you're best in class, often what comes with is a lot of pressure, a lot of stress. And there's a lot of things behind the scenes of a great performer, someone that's in the spotlight, someone that's got the lead role. There's a lot of pain behind the scenes that nobody sees. And so often it looks beautiful in the front. It says perfect candy store that we all see behind the scenes. There's also kind of problems that we all hiding from the world. I think kind of from my outside lens sort of looking in, this is where someone like you could really come in and help plug a lot of holes. But not just that. That's sort of like that performance aspect. But also people that undeniably have all kinds of health issues that are out there invisible. So it's like two avatars, really, but they're both really valuable people that you really help. So speaking of that, what is the number one thing you see with high performers that might be a gateway into this conversation that is somewhere where you can come in and help that is very common for the people that you work with?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I think the very first step for anyone is really actually testing to see what is going on in your body. If you're experiencing any kind of symptom, it's really a signal telling you that something's not okay. So symptoms are gifts. I see that. If your body starts breaking out in hives,
Sure.
or you can't sleep at night, if you're awake between 2 to 4 a.m., to me that's a signal saying, hey, there's something not okay. and we need to identify what that is. And oftentimes when people come to me, they've tried a lot of different things already. And so at that point, we actually do need to do testing to actually uncover why are you experiencing these symptoms.
So you just said the symptoms are a gift. I've never heard anyone say that, but it makes a lot of sense because this is a chance to fix it. How many people do you see just ignore the gift?
So many.
Yeah.
And there's so many people that I've talked to. It's a choice. It's a decision. You have to decide that you actually want the change. So many people just want to stay comfortable in the pain and the symptoms because they've been dealing with it for 5, 10, 15, 20 years.
Sure.
That's the problem with the United States is that we're riddled with chronic symptoms. And most of the time, if you become diabetic, you didn't just become diabetic overnight. It happened over the course of 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And so when people get to a place where they're like, oh my goodness, man, I just got all this news from my doctor. I'm like, well, do you want to change?
Right.
And oftentimes, if that doesn't flip on, then there's nothing that we can do for the person.
If you think about it, there's got to be a lot of fear. If you see a symptom and you don't view it as a gift, you look at it as a detriment. That fear of knowing what it really is, I think is what puts a lot of people in that sort of mindset. They want to bury it like it's not there.
Yeah.
So they suffer through it even though they spot something's not right.
Yeah.
Instead of fixing it. And then maybe they go fix it when it's so scary now that it sort of like overwhelms the fear of knowing is the fear of how bad the symptom clearly is.
Yeah.
And that's when it's maybe too late sometimes, right?
I don't think it's too late. I think that there's always something that we can do. And sometimes just the smallest, simplest changes can make the biggest difference. There was a woman that recently came to me. She had tried multiple other functional practitioners. She hadn't slept through the night in over 10 years.
Wow.
And I said, okay, this is what we're going to do this first month. We really needed to reset her adrenals. We needed to reset her nervous system. And there was one supplement that changed everything for her. And she texted me a week later, and she said, Amanda, I've been sleeping through the night every single night. I haven't been able to do this in over 10 years.
Amazing.
And so it's things like that where you think, right, you do have that fear, but I just replace that fear with curiosity. And I think fear is not necessarily a bad thing. Like, whatever that is, it just can't be in the driver's seat. Put it in the passenger seat. It actually can help fuel you. And so having people be able to get that awareness to flip it from fear to curiosity, I think, is a big game changer.
Right. You need something, dude?
No, I'm just going to move us a little here. We're just getting a little bit too much space on you.
Okay, this is better.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right there. Now you can lean back and keep
She
that
needs a
safe.
brand new mic that hasn't been spoken in by other humans. She's very functional.
No, but
I know her. I can see
everything's
it.
been
I'm
like
kind of
all
I'm kind of the same way, dude. We got any covers of these?
No.
I call how I see it. I call how I see it. Well, I love this topic, so we're gonna edit that. Obviously, I love this topic. So two things hit me right there. Number one, I got to ask, and I think the audience is gonna want to know, what was that supplement? That one supplement that keeps someone from not sleeping for 10 years. They bring you in. Just the accountability, I think, of making a mental and sort of transactional commitment to someone. People don't recognize the power of that. The second I put money on the table and say I'm going to do something, the accountability of putting blood in, that's skin in the game now. I'm vested in solving a problem. That often is such a gateway to taking whatever you're going to do and giving me and actually doing it. And a lot of people try to skate that system, and it's hard. They don't. Especially high performers, they know the power of this. That's why you become so valuable. I just want to slip that thought in there because I think everyone has someone in their family, and I do, many people actually, that always wanted to solve a problem, always had the chance to and never did, and it was too late. They passed away before their time, before they should have.
Yeah.
My grandpa's a prime example. He wanted to get that trailer out and he wanted to take it across the country. You know, he told me that for years, all through high school. He had this trailer sitting in his dream was to retire and drive that trailer across the country. He never did. It just sat there till, you know, his health just completely faded. But I argue, like, bringing you in at the right time to be aware of the actual problem beneath the medication that doctors just pump out, like, could have literally gifted him not just extra years, but more quality lives. So again, like, you know, the idea that it could be too late. I mean, obviously you work with peak performers, obviously, but I think down the line, people that might hear this message, there's people that are going to ignore it because they are so afraid of the truth. And I know so many people like that. they're not people that are in my circle because we're on action takers, right? We fix things. We see it, we fix it. It's a muscle. But down all the way down there, sort of the line of people that are just like living trapped in fear. I think that the health one is a very common one that's easy to avoid. I think everyone else kind of feels it, like, oh, I don't know if I want to know what that is right now. I'm busy, like, you know what I mean? Like a little lump somewhere, like, oh, I'll deal with it later. And that's a 10-year I'm dealing with it later. I think it's more common from my perspective. And you just triggered all that in me, just thinking about so many people that I know that would have benefited from hearing that. But
Yeah. Well,
go ahead.
there's a difference too between health span and lifespan, right?
So
Lifespan is how many years you get. Health span is how many of them are actually healthy years where you don't have a chronic disease.
Right.
And the United States is the highest by far.
there you go.
And we are on average 29% higher than any other country that's well developed. Like there's a problem with that, with how many resources that we actually have on this planet. Like the average American, the end of their health span is 64 years old
Why is that?
because we are masking problems with medication.
So that's an American problem primarily, if it's like really that far above the rest of the modern world.
Yeah,
Wild.
I think it's the medication because really
Right.
how our medical system has been created over time is there's specialization. So you go to an endocrinologist, you go to a gastroenterologist,
Sure.
right? You go to the OBGYN. Like everyone has a specialization, but the problem is that our body is interconnected. So our gut is talking to our brain, which is talking to our detoxification systems. So everything's interconnected. And if you can get your body to be able to talk at a cellular level again, then your body will start to heal itself naturally.
Amazing. This is really good. At the end of the day, I love, for me personally, I love the why beneath anything, because if I don't know the why, like, I go straight to the why for everything. Because you could tell me what to do, I need to know why.
That's exactly why I started doing what I was doing, because
Yeah.
I was so sick of being told what to do, it not working. I'm like, no, I need to know why.
Tell me why.
Yeah.
I'm big on that. I mean, what started this whole podcast, and I still need to know about the gal, 10-year sleeper. We're not getting off that. The mystery is building. I'll keep it here. This is dimensional mind here. But we're talking about Ashton Hall, these viral people that a trend goes viral. And like, I'm like, okay, why? Because now the whole world's getting the blue. Show them the blue bottle that triggered this whole thing. There it is. That's the Ashton Hall, the most viewed person on the planet right now.
Delicious.
Crack it real slow, so like the camera. You know what I'm saying? Have you done the whatever? Is it a challenge? Because it almost feels like the ice bucket challenge, where you put a cold thing of ice in a bucket every morning and you dip your head in it, and then you rub bananas on your face and cucumbers on your feet. I mean, I don't know what he's doing, but it's a whole series of things. Have you seen it? You've seen it, right?
Yeah, I don't know about the banana peel. The ice bucket though.
In the face.
Yes, that
Okay,
has.
why? I get it, inflammation, right? But like just on the face, or is it better than nothing? Or
It's good for your nervous system.
yeah,
So for some people, the face is going to be the most effective. For other people, full body submission.
Sure.
Getting into a natural cold plunge. And, it's funny, there's been a lot of studies that have been coming out recently saying that cold plunging actually has a negative impact on females. And I've been tracking all of this data, doing cold plunging pretty consistently for the past few years. And for me, it has a negative 3% impact to my recovery.
because you know your numbers.
Yes, I know my
You
numbers.
test.
Yes.
You see.
And
Interesting.
so it does line up with the new data that's coming out. However, for me, the negative 3% recovery is worth still going in the cold plunge, because cold plunging for me is such a mental thing. I literally hate the cold water. Like, I remember when I was 6 years old, my mom put me at the country club swim team and said, all right, let's try out swimming. And they were like, oh, she's great, she's gonna be such a good swimmer. I got out of the pool and I was like, Mom, that water was way too cold for me. And thankfully I was doing a bunch of other sports at the time. So my mom was like, you don't need to stick with swimming, that's fine. That's like a core memory for me. I've always hated cold water. Yep. So the cold plunge for me is a mental thing more than anything. And what it does is it activates my AMCC, which is in your brain. It's tied to longevity, and it's doing the hard things, right? And for me, cold plunging is hard. And so that's why I do it, because then it sets me up, sets the tone for the rest of the day.
Yeah. Well, speaking of biohacking, I mean, the trigger of the face in the water in sort of like the why beneath all of it, like what's right, what's wrong. This is what's cool about you is you're such a like a book of knowledge of what the why is beneath it, or is it just a gimmicky thing? But sort of looking at the world of biohacking, this is a really sticky topic. People want to know. I mean, at the end of the day, you got Dr. David Sinclair is a prime example, someone that's saying that the first person that's going to live to be 150 years old, he's already born and thriving right now. Starting to look at like cellular regeneration, like really the idea of aging. What is it? The why beneath even these concepts that seem so simple, but maybe they're not. The idea of really like the concept of life and death even, there's conversations that explore the boundaries of that. How much of that interests you? How much of this stuff do you apply that actually you found is really valuable? Because this, especially for performers, like this idea of maxing out your God-given potential, I think health obviously is a major criteria in that component. So as far as biohacking, this is a lot of popular stuff, but is this just the next wave of money? You know what I mean? The next trends that drive dollars to a bottom line with some creative genius behind the scenes pulling all the strings. I always wonder that, and that's why the why is so important, right?
Yeah, I think Dave Asprey coined the term biohacking, and I really actually don't love that term because you think about hacking, it's like I think of like an axe and you're like chopping at your body, and that kind of insinuates that you're working against it. I like the term more of like biooptimization. How can we optimize what's already in our body at the cellular level? And so with that frame of mind, yes, there are many things that I love that have helped optimize my health and get it to the next level. The first layer, and you can't just jump right to the biooptimization though. You have to start with actually healing your body. So for me, peptides have been an incredible way to get my health to the next level. But until my body was healed, I wasn't ready for those peptides. So that's why mastering the foundations, actually figuring out what's going on inside. Like if your body is actually sick, if it's in a state of dis-ease,
Sure.
cold plunging, sauna, red light, all of that is only going to take you so far. In a sense, it's almost like another Band-Aid.
Right. So, yeah, getting to the root cause of anything and then building a plan around it and then adding in things as you start to really discipline around health, finding the core. Is that sort of the way this would go for you?
Exactly, yeah. And, I find so many people just really struggle with mastering the foundations and the basics just because there's so much information out there and they don't know how to properly apply it to their own body.
Yeah.
And so, like, sleep is a prime example. The average American gets anywhere between 35 to 45% of restorative sleep. That's your REM sleep and your deep sleep.
Right.
My restorative sleep is at 60% on average. Wow. So I get on average at least 4 hours of restorative sleep every night. So my mind, my body is healing that much quicker, that much more effectively, that much more efficiently. And when people are able to master these foundations, making sure you're getting in enough movement, making sure you're drinking enough water, making sure you're fueling how you need to fuel, then once you add in these other things, it just skyrockets you. It takes you to the next level.
What's the number one, because I think I know your answer, but what is the number one thing that really has a massive consequence to someone's health? If like you had to point to one thing that is insanely crucial to get right now, your number one priority for any person, whether you know their symptoms or not, something you could just say, this is the most fundamental foundational thing that must get right to make everything else that we're going to do like a win.
Quality sleep.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say that.
Yeah.
So sleep, I think people underprice sleep, and again, I even when I was coming up, in business especially, I mean, you hear Trump, I get 4 hours sleep every night. He's bold on it. He probably does. He's just the way he works, but he's an old guy. He's a doer. At the end of the day, I've thought about this quite a bit as well too, because I used to be like a phenomenal sleeper. Like I literally would just tax myself so hard every day that by the time I hit, and I was like, I'm out. I've slept so good. But as I've gotten older, for some reason, I'll wake up in the middle of the night and my wheels start turning too fast, and then it's not good. Like I could go to sleep like a genius. So there's some correction, right? Or you would say that's telling you something like, why am I waking up at 2 a.m, like hoping it's morning, like to go solve problems. Like I'm so deep in trying to like figure things out, for so many years now, it seems like, but that has been something that's bothering me because it kills my sleep score. And I used to be a sleep score champion when that Oura Ring first came out, and it's only gotten worse. So I got to fix it. So I'm looking at my own situation at the end of the day. But you'll have a lot of people historically that that are hardliners. That you know what I mean. They work late. They wake up early. They don't get that much sleep. And like tying that back to quality of life, performance. All the different symptoms that come across that. Like now you saying that that's the number one thing. That is such a big spotlight for a lot of people, I think, just to hear that. And I don't know how well that's heard, but I've been hearing it, and it's kind of bothered me that, like, I know this now, and, like, I'm still seeing, like, not great sleep scores.
Yeah, so that's where really fine-tuning your evening schedule comes in, too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, making sure you're not eating heavy fat meals 2 hours before bed.
And why is that? Can you just speak to that, the why? Because I love this topic, but I thought it was because your body can't sleep if it's digesting food, which takes so much energy from your body. Is that right?
Exactly, yeah, because
Okay.
fat is 9 calories per gram, whereas carbs and protein are 4. And so it takes more energy to break down the fats. And so the earlier that you're able, there's actually this thing in the gut called the migrating motor complex, MMC for short. It's like the janitor of your gut, of your body. And it takes 90 minutes for it to start, right? And you need at least 3 to 4 hours for it to fully do its
Amazing.
job. And so that's why you shouldn't be eating a bunch of meals throughout the day.
Right.
You need at least 3 to 4 hours that you can start to digest. So giving your body at least those 90 minutes for the MMC to start doing its job before bed is crucial before bedtime.
How important is that? Because you know how many people, like, eat and then go to bed? Eat late and they go lay in bed. And, I mean, I see it all. I feel like I see it all around.
I'm guilty of it sometimes. And the times that I do it, like I was working late the other night, literally at the grocery store at 10 p.m. and got home and I was like, well, I need to eat something. I'm starving. And the next day my sleep score was so low. I was like, yep, this is a great reminder for myself. To practice what I preach every single day, right?
Sure.
Sometimes that's life, though. You just need a fuel, but it really does make a big impact. And another thing that makes a very positive impact on sleep is actually getting sunshine as the sun is setting. Get outside for a few minutes in the morning. Okay. It's really helpful. In the evening, it's really helpful. It helps reset your circadian rhythm. Foods that are rich in tryptophan. So that'd be like your turkey, your chicken, pineapple, kiwi, avocado.
That's a big one. So sunlight, people undervalue it. Like if you wake up before the sun's up, if you get up at 3 a.m. and you're at the gym by 4, it's still black everywhere.
Yeah.
Does that screw up the circadian rhythm by waking up too early? I always wondered this. So.
Yeah, I think as soon as if you finish your workout right and the sun's up, get outside, right? Just like it's
as soon as possible.
Yes. Yeah, because I'm up in Dallas right now. The sun is not up at 5 a.m. when I'm up. But here it is. And
We're so far north.
It was so amazing. I woke up this morning and naturally my body woke up at 5 a.m. I was like, I need to be in this kind of.
It's cool.
Yeah, it was amazing.
And it gets dark here in the summer, like at 10.
Yeah, I feel like I'm in
light.
Alaska.
We're pretty far north. Canada's not that far away.
Yeah.
No, it's cool. I mean, that's one of the things I love about living up here in the summer. You get so much bright light, and but the winter's the exact opposite. So.
Have you tried mouth tape?
Yeah, I did actually. I'm buddies with a guy that had that whole setup, and my wife took a video of me. When I was sleeping, and it looked like I was dying. Like it was the most embarrassing thing to look at. Did you see that, Colton?
I only.
Like how am I breathing? Like what is that? Like I was literally I don't know how a person could die in that situation. It felt like I was literally choking with the weirdest snore and just pain on my face. But I was sleeping right through it. But it was just this miserable appearance. That can't be how this.
Did it have a hole in the middle of the tape?
No, it was a black thing, and I had the nose thing and the whole setup, and it just was wretched because it looked like I was struggling so bad that there's no way that's a pleasant setup because I was snoring through the thing. But it's supposed to stop you from snoring. I think is the concept. It didn't stop me from. I ripped right through that tape, just weirdo. But yeah.
Do you train when you're doing cardio? Do you go for runs ever?
I've throughout my life, I go through so many phases of HIIT type in like, and then just always weightlifting is the core, no matter what. I'm just like a weightlifting guy, but
Yeah.
I'll get into the old days, like, you know, quarterback, you know, should have gone to state days where I'm like, all right, I need to be an athlete again.
Yeah.
And I'll like sprint up hills, and I'll have like really good runs of like where I have a good gas tank. But as far as like long distance running or the consistency of that cardio, no.
Are you breathing out of your mouth or your nose when you're doing cardio?
I don't know. Naturally, I don't know, but I know that when I'm focused on it, I'm trying to always like take in through the nose.
Yeah, that was like the biggest game changer for me. My trainer in Dallas, he was a former NBA player, and I think one of the best things he ever told me was, Amanda, whenever you're running on the treadmill, only breathe in and out of your nose.
Nose, yeah.
Right?
You got to be aware of it.
Yeah, as soon as you have that awareness, it makes
Yeah.
such a difference. And
That's good.
I think that helps with my sleep then,
Sure.
in turn.
Another great trick, I just think it's valuable for high performers. I learned this, a combination of people, but really Ed Milet sank this deep into my brain when he was working with me on public speaking, is to really make sure that you're rhythmically breathing through the nose as you're nervous. So if you have like the concept is simple, really. If you have these nerves of fear that and where the adrenaline's pumping through your body,
Yeah.
and it's giving you some symptoms. It could be dry mouth. It could be sweaty palms. There's all kinds of symptoms, and I feel the dry mouth the worst. That's like my symptom. And the greatest way I've learned to overcome it, number one was to know why. Again, the why is so big. Like, why do I feel this way? This is so stupid. And it's almost like a feeling of fear, like as people might be shooting at you. And historically, in fact, they could stone you to death if you stepped into the light, presented yourself as a position with of authority or someone that has moral authority over in some kind of high ground. If the people don't like what you say, then you're at really grave risk. That's a very like vulnerable place to be, right? And a lot of people never really thought about why I'm feeling fear in this setting. This idea that I'm afraid people think, like, who cares? Like, they're not going to hurt you. Well,
Yeah.
no, historically, like Jesus Christ actually didn't make it. You know, he got executed for what he said. You step in the light, you have a bold opinion. You know, throughout all the time of history, back to the caveman days, 35,000 years ago, it was the most vulnerable place to be in the world, is in the light with a bold opinion. And so here we are in the modern day, in the light with a bold opinion, and we're feeling all this fear. That adrenaline's trying to tell you this way. What Ed really brought to life beyond that, Ed, it was also this little speech coach that I had named Idora. And they really locked in some of these powerful concepts that have been a game changer for me. But the rhythmic breathing thing is really genius. And it was like, Ed connected this dot. You feeling the fear, the butterflies in your stomach that's making you want to have the fight or flight. Some of the best speakers in the world have it. So not everyone's, necessarily born to the degree that you might be or I might be, but know that, I feel it too. I was like, oh, that's helpful. So you weren't born this way. You can overcome a lot of things just by knowing someone you admire had to fight through the same things you do. So don't quit. So you have to figure it out, right? So that was like a good first one for me, for anyone's listening. But the rhythmic breathing, the concept was what you're really afraid of is that you're going to forget something on stage. You're going to go blank. And that the amygdala is going to be so fired up in your brain and your prefrontal cortex is going to start shrinking down. And that's where vocabulary is pulled from the prefrontal. You forget your name. It could get that bad. And he said that the reason the prefrontal cortex shuts down is because your HRV gets completely out of whack. And if your HRV is out of whack, that is really the trigger that sort of shuts down the front of your brain. So he said the way you offset if you're feeling that is rhythmically breathe through your nose. The box breathing was a good tactic. But the whole concept was through the nose and then out through the mouth, which actually moisturizes your vocal cords. Good speaker, a little wink, wink. But that was literally a game changer for me because if I'm feeling fear and I start breathing rhythmically through my nose, what I recognize is I'm still afraid. The feeling's still there, right? It's adrenaline. But I'm able to remember stuff. I can still be sharp or witty like I normally might be. And that fear of like bombing on stage, we've all seen what that looks like. It's a catastrophe. It's like a train wreck. If you watch someone on stage and like, oh, and what's happening is they're forgetting everything. And that panic of freezing, that's what we're really afraid of is what Ed kind of sank into my mind. And the fact of just being aware of it, knowing the why, and having one simple system like that completely changed my life when it came to a really powerful topic of stepping in the light and having an opinion about something.
Yeah, that brings me back to college. On my college dance team, we would have choreographed breaths in all of our nationals routines. And so...
Breaths?
Breaths.
Okay.
So like on count 2, everyone breathe in. On count 3, everyone breathe out. And you want it to be audible and loud, and you want to be able to hear it. And it was for that exact reason.
Really?
Yeah.
I never heard that before. I was told that.
Yeah.
But it changed everything.
Uh-huh.
Wow. Have you ever connected it to, I mean, especially working with high performers, a lot of these, these people that are going to be public figures or people in the light, is that ever been something that you've connected to that same situation that I just described?
Yeah, well, you mentioned HRV, and HRV is...
Yeah, explain.
So heart rate variability, it is a metric telling you how balanced and ready your nervous system is to take on the day. Higher the better. And I'll use my own like personal story of HRV and why I love it so much. So right after I finished, so I was, sorry, this alarm's going off. Okay, HRV. So right after I finished, I was a finalist for the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, right? I was in what I thought was my peak optimal health. My HRV was in the 90s. I was training and dancing pretty much every day, fueling my body, working in private equity. I was doing all the things. 2 months later, all of a sudden my HRV went from the 90s down to the 60s. No other symptoms.
Out of nowhere?
Out of nowhere. Literally, there was nothing.
Is that when you were doing the tryouts for the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders?
So tryouts finished in June. My HRV plummeted at like the end of July, early August.
Okay.
So it was like right around 2 months. And so that to me was a leading indicator, right? I go back to like all my economics classes, the leading and the lagging indicators. It was a leading indicator that something was about to be wrong in my body. And so that was my nervous system telling me, hey, Amanda, listen up, something is not okay. And there's not enough information. Well, it's not that there's not enough information. Most doctors don't even know what HRV is. So, right, I walked into the doctors and I said, hey, my HRV plummeted. And they were like,
So?
they're like,
What do you
you're
mean?
fine.
Yeah.
You look fine.
Relax,
right?
lady.
And so, but I knew that was it. And so being able to tune in to your HRV, and it's interesting. I was on a call last week with one of my clients. He had an Ironman yesterday. And we were talking about his HRV. He's like, yeah, man, my HRV's been all over the place the past few weeks. And I'm like, well, your wife did just have a baby. So there's been like a lot of different changes that have been going on in your life. What tweaks do we need to make to be able to bring your HRV back up? Right. And so that's where I find the value of wearing biometric, like tracking devices like the Whoop, because every day you're able to track all of the different. Yeah, this is the Whoop.
I never heard of it.
Really? Are you serious?
I got the ring.
You have the
I don't
Oura
wear
Ring.
it, but
okay, yeah.
I wear it at night.
So I like the Whoop. I've been wearing it for 2.5 years. I haven't taken it off for 932 days straight.
You can shower with it?
Yeah, you can shower with it,
Really?
and I have multiple different bands.
You just to charge it? Yeah, obviously.
You put the charger on, so you literally don't even have to take it off your wrist when.
What?
Yeah, it's amazing, and it tells you. So you know how we were just talking about your health span versus your lifespan.
Yeah.
So Whoop just totally upgraded, and now they have this version where it tells you all the different metrics that are either positively or negatively impacting your life. And so it's looking at sleep, it's looking at strain, it's looking at VO2 max.
You're right.
All of those things. And so being able to assess that, it's a game changer.
Amazing.
I think just having the data allows you then to make better decisions.
Amazing.
Right?
I don't know if Whoop's out there listening, but you owe us some money. You know what I'm saying? That was a beautiful testimony. Keep going, though. That's awesome.
Yeah. So heart rate variability, though, the importance of it is that it's telling your nervous system how balanced and ready it is to take on the day.
Yeah.
And why that matters is because our body doesn't know the difference between real or perceived stress. And so we need to be able to get it into a place of rest and digest as much as possible.
That's interesting. So real stress would be that someone's going to kill me. I'm running for my life. Other stress would be like, oh, damn it, the Wi-Fi's not working. I'm freaking out.
Or
is that perceived stress?
Perceived stress could even be like something that hasn't even happened yet. So something in the future that you're worrying about, the anxiety that is looming over your head.
Right.
And, you could break down stress into multiple different categories, right?
What's the best way to handle it?
What's the best way to handle it?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, guys, like I just realized, like every single person I know is going to benefit from, like, okay, I feel it, and it's perceived stress. Like I'm worrying about things that haven't happened yet. Like everyone's going to have something, right? There's something you just referenced. Like, I mean, what are the ways to be able to, like? I guess it comes back to this. Everything you're describing requires a level of awareness before you can do anything. And I've heard this many times, and I preach this a lot. What doesn't get measured can't get fixed. You have to be able to understand the power of the concept, which brings me back to awareness. These two things is what you're underlying what you're saying, no matter what. Even when the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders situation happened, you had a level of awareness even then that was putting you in a superior class of just humans that are just not that aware. Like you were really at the front edge of that even back then.
Yeah.
And you weren't even in medicine then either. So we'll get into, I think we'll tee this up beautifully to kind of tell your story, which really the whole concept of the mission project, man on a mission, everything we do kind of leads to a mission and a why. And I think the best missions in the world come from the pain that you once experienced. But before I jump into that, kind of broadly laying all this out, like kind of recognizing just as a shout out to you, the level of awareness that you had, where that came from, the why, but then, linking into the idea of stress, which is such a universal thing. So we're into sleep, you really, I think, beat that up really well. Then we're really kind of connecting that to HRV and really performance in life and maybe some indicator that something's wrong. And then the idea of fake stress versus real stress and like, what do we do in that place? So I think I cut you off because you were going to describe a few stresses, but ultimately, how do people fix this right now just from the value that we can give them? Because this will probably change a lot of lives. Just one trick, one habit, one little level of awareness, I believe, can completely change someone's day. And maybe the benefit of that is the children. Who knows? Better relationship. I mean, how many different places would that touch if you knew how to manage your own stress better, right?
Yeah. Gratitude. It's so powerful. Vitamin G.
Write it down. Can we say that again and get an amen?
Vitamin G.
Amen.
If you are grateful, you cannot be fearful.
Yeah.
They literally cannot coexist.
Right.
And there's so many women, especially that I find
Damn.
that
That's good.
wake up and they just start pouring out into everyone but themselves. The power of 15 minutes to do something to pour into your own cup in the morning changes the game more than anything else I have seen. Pour into your cup for 15 minutes, whatever that looks like. If that's getting outside for a walk for 15 minutes, if that's sitting and journaling, if that's reading, if that's listening to a podcast, if it's simply just sitting there in silence and writing down 3 gratitudes.
Yeah.
That just tells your body, I am safe, I am secure, I am okay, I'm not going to be killed by a bear today.
Right. Right. It's that feeling, right? Is the fear or the feeling around stress, I think stress and fear probably have this intertwined relationship of hell because none of it feels good, right? And again, it's probably the value in it. Obviously, again, it's always a signal. It's telling you something. You're going to listen, be aware, but is that sort of like system of those two things, like, is that one of the leading causes that of all the illness and the chronic problems that you're seeing is like actually stress induced, stress related, even if it's not directly related to health directly, maybe it's the decisions that come from stress that lead to poor decisions over here that are benefiting health negatively, but maybe just thinking out loud that may be the number one way to really like start going down the wrong path is not be aware of what stress is sort of churning you into a nightmare. I'm a nightmare all the time. I am. I'm like, I literally like want to do 1,000 things and like, I can't touch it all, so I have to like calm down, to come up with my systems, gratitude. You're right. No one's killing me. I live a great life. Like, this is easy now. breathe. My system though. Right. Yeah. So like, but it doesn't mean you're going to be perfect, but how many people without the awareness go down really bad holes.
And acute stress is not a bad thing. Acute stress is a good thing. That's what allows high-performing people to actually go in. Okay. But it's when chronic stress over time, what happens is cortisol is constantly released. And if there's too much cortisol that's released, what that does is that breaks down the lining of your gut. Right. which then causes intestinal permeability, and that causes all these toxins to get back up into the bloodstream. They can cross into the blood-brain barrier. That's what causes brain fog. And then that's where the vicious cycle of dis-ease begins. But I think it goes back to what are the different types of stress. So there's dietary stress, how you're fueling your body. That would be both with
Gummy bears.
yeah, right. Looking at macronutrients and micronutrients. So what are the whole foods, but also like, are you deficient in zinc or selenium? Those are the
I
most,
take both.
right? Those are the most common. You don't even need to take a selenium supplement. Just eat 2 Brazil nuts every day.
Perfect. A tuber
2 Brazil nuts. That's your daily source of selenium.
or nuts?
Brazil nuts.
Brazil nuts. Oh, okay.
Brazil nuts specifically.
It's just, you know what? Like, I want all the details. Give me all the foods. I want what does that do? What does this do? Like, can someone make it for me and just like line it up every day? I want a person to hand me my protein shakes, to put meals in front of me. I don't even want to touch my vitamins. Put them in a little tray for me, sir. You know what I
Right?
mean? Like, let's go. Like buying my time back. But I need the person to do it exactly how you say.
Yeah.
That would be a dream.
Exactly. That's
That's a business.
it is.
We should start it. You know what I mean? Like, people hand you protein shakes all day. They walk around like just cooking behind you. It's like my dream.
Yeah.
Dan Martell has that. He legitimately has a house manager, and here's that part of her setup is to hand him a protein shake at the right time. It's genius. I've always thought. I told my wife, I was like, man, I need a protein person. You know what I mean?
It's so true. I actually just put up something on my story, like looking for a chef in Dallas because I like my things very specifically
Yeah.
for how I'm gonna fuel. And
I have a good one here. They're amazing. They would ship to you, and it works because I did in Laguna because we became really fond of her. She's a dear friend, and she's become a good friend of ours. But she's got a good setup, and she would ship it iced, and like it worked. It would get from here overnighted to Laguna or as quick as possible.
wow.
And it was impressive, but it's like real like quality food cooked like with grandma's love. But
love
it's
that.
a setup that works without
Yeah.
having someone in my house, like, you know, like doing that, you know, next level type
Yeah.
thing. But it
Yeah.
worked really well.
Yeah. Back to stress though. So
Yeah.
there's dietary stress.
Okay.
There's environmental stress. So environmental stress can come from the plastics. It can come from
Smoke.
mold, smoke. For me, it was a bacterial pathogen that
Okay.
wreaked havoc on my body. Then there's, in our world, the toxic load that we carry is crazy.
Wow, you're right. And again, I think we're leading to your story, which is I want to get to. But there's just so much upfront value that I think that people are pulling out of this, and I want to keep teeing this up. The toxic overload that you describe. What are some of the simple remedies, again, like universally, or supplements that sort of speak to this? Like I heard NAC during COVID. I got all these recommendations from like a local physician who's like in functional medicine. And she's like trained on both sides. She's,
Yeah.
That world is so different than this world. And it was cool to hear her.
I love that.
She
Yeah.
plays both games. But she gave me a whole list of things during COVID, especially like if you've had COVID or if even for people that took the vaccine. She had a lot of advice on that. She actually set up a whole clinic for people that took vaccines to come in and get support on the backside of it. And it was really interesting what I learned from her. But so much of my protocol today is what she built in as like suggestions. But I remember NAC was one of them.
Yeah.
So curious your thoughts on, and I don't know if that's so toxin related or.
Yeah, that's toxin
It is,
related.
yeah.
Yeah.
But we do ingest a lot of toxins. We don't realize it could be in lotions that you think are healthy from Bed Bath & Beyond or whatever. It could be from perfumes or colognes. Like there's a world of toxicity around there. And so what should someone do if they're just going to try to hedge their bet, without going as far as you probably want them, just to do something of value from this conversation?
Yeah. Sweating is so
Sauna?
valuable. Get in the sauna.
Oh, my favorite thing.
Yeah,
I just
my
bought
favorite
one.
thing too, biotoxin binder. So get an activated charcoal. I literally will put a scoop of activated charcoal in my mouth 30 minutes before I go sit in the sauna.
Really?
And what that does is it binds to all the toxins and it helps flush them out more effectively, especially
Awesome.
the toxins that are in your gut.
What about the bacteria in your mouth? How important is that to understand? Because I never realized like scraping your tongue or, naturally I'm a hygienic human, but I had no idea the importance of brushing your teeth. Like is the first thing you do in the morning. Like instead of just going and getting coffee, I'll brush my teeth after the coffee. No, you're swallowing a bunch of bacteria that built up in your mouth overnight into your stomach. Like how true is that or not? What are the myths, what are not? But this is something that I've only recently been aware of.
It's important. Your
mouth health.
Yeah, oral health. Yeah, for sure.
Oral health.
Oral. Yeah. Connected to your gut.
Yeah.
So
right.
there's specific gut bacteria that are directly connected to the bacteria in your mouth.
Sure.
And so if there's an overgrowth of those bacteria, it can lead to a variety of different problems in your gut, which then leads to a cascading effect of symptoms that may appear.
So sweat, charcoal. I'm going to add charcoal. That's a new one.
Hydration's so important. There's so many people. So the first month when I'm often working with people, we actually have to like flush the body and prepare it to actually be able to detoxify.
Let's go.
It's essential.
I'm ready.
It's essential that we actually open up your detoxification pathways, because if we go straight to, let's just try a juice cleanse, let's just get all these toxins out of our body.
Right.
You're going to create a negative feedback loop, and it's going to be a vicious cycle. So you actually need to prepare your detox pathways to be best prepared for the detoxification.
Is that an arduous process? I heard like a buddy of mine actually was talking about this. He made a commitment, which was I guess a big deal, to do some sort of cleanse that was for what's it called? The little things that are like little worms in different countries. Parasite cleanse. Yeah. I don't know how intense that is, but he made it sound like it was like a really big step that he was taking, that he's finally going to do it. I was like, he just take a few pills, or like, why is it so intense, or is it?
There's different practitioners have different protocols for what they do for a parasite cleanse. Sure. I'll tell you this is crazy. I had just done like a gut zoomer on myself to make sure that how my gut was looking. I like to do it every 6 months on myself, and my gut zoomer came back really, really good.
Beautiful.
And two months later, I started taking this liquid. It's like a carbon bonded technology. Yeah. Liquid vitamin. And 3 weeks after starting to take it, I got rid of a parasite in my body. It was insane. So I called the doctor, and this doc, he healed his own autoimmunity through this specific liquid multivitamin. I'm like, hey doc, is it normal to lose that a parasite literally came out of my body?
How do you know that? Did you see it?
Yes.
Was that living?
It was insane.
What is it?
It was a worm.
Really?
Yeah. It was wild.
No way.
It was crazy. And so I called the doc. I'm like, hey doc, this is what just happened. I don't know if this is TMI, but I'm freaking out a little bit.
We're here to heal.
Yeah.
We're here to heal it all. This is healing.
I'm freaking out a little bit. Can you explain this to me a little bit more? And so our body is made of 18% carbon. And this vitamin works so well because it's the most bioavailable.
What's the vitamin? We got to say it.
It's called Drucker Labs.
They owe us money.
Intramin, Intramax.
Where are they at? You hear that? I like a check, please. And so would she.
Code Amanda 10. It does work.
There you go.
But
Code Amanda 10. There you go.
No, but Intramin, Intramax. And essentially, it's carbon bonded technology. And so I drink the liquid vitamin, and it's able to more effectively and efficiently get to penetrate the cellular level. Yeah. Okay. So carbon, then it comes into contact with carbonate. Carbonate are any kind of toxins that enter our body. And so the carbon starves out the carbonate. So essentially what happened is I'd been taking this liquid multivitamin for 3 weeks, and it had starved out the parasite that was literally pulling out all of my energy and taking in all of my nutrients.
Awesome.
And it was wild. I was like 3 weeks, I was blown away. And so
that's cool.
That not hard, right? You just take a little
Did you feel bad when you were taking that vitamin? Was there any kind of negative consequence, or
I didn't feel anything negative.
Okay, good. So it's
and
not
it actually gives me energy. I use it as pre-workout the other week.
Yeah, we gotta look at we gotta write this down. Can you get on Amazon? Okay, send me a link. Amanda 10. Is it on your? Do you have it on your profile anywhere? This vitamin that kills worms?
No. I don't like to just say try this or try that, because everything's so
you have a process.
It's so bio.
I'm gonna try it. Okay.
Yeah. No, you should totally try.
I try everything. I'm like a garbage disposal.
It's amazing, but you have to do Intramin and Intramax. So the Intramax is like over 400 carbon bonded nutrients. Then the intra-min are trace minerals. And so the trace minerals are like the activator and the catalyst to actually help the intramax do its thing.
How important, if you're taking supplements, well, number one, how important are supplements in general, daily, to make sure that you find the right supplements for you? I mean, outside of food, like I think there's probably a lot of people like me that are, and just in full transparency, that like love supplements, because in my mind, like I check all the boxes. You know what I'm saying? Like, is that like good or bad? But what's your thoughts?
No, I love supplements. It's the right one. Quality matters.
So the quality of the supplements. We don't want to be Walmart shopping for vitamins, right? Or maybe we do. I don't know.
Please.
Is there any good ones?
Please don't.
So quality matters. So if you think it's too expensive, then maybe you should ask, like, is the expense of your negative health worth more than the expense of the quality supplement? And maybe that should be the determiner of how you're going to make decisions against cheap products that who knows what fillers are in there. Who knows if that's even an active ingredient that they say it is. How many of the products on the market you think were the active ingredient? And there's like a lot of bizarre data that I've heard. Who knows? It's so hard to know, right? That is showing that the active ingredients of what they claim is not even close. And in some cases, not even present.
Cheap is cheap.
That's scary.
We'll talk fish oils.
Cheap is cheap. You
Cheap.
hear that? I'm big on this. Give me the most expensive one.
Well, cheap is cheap. It's so true. Like,
Is that good or bad?
so
That could be bad too.
I'm kind of the same way though. Like I like
I like
quality.
packaging. Yeah, like feels good, aesthetically pleasing. I make decisions purely on the cover of the book.
But like take fish oils for example. So most fish oils, I'll tell you this, most fish oils they're like just filler trash.
Right. I've heard
And
this.
you need fish oils that are high in EPA and DHA
Right.
because that's what actually matters for cognitive
And does
function.
origin of country, is that a big deal too? Because like I heard, what's the green pill that's in our fridge? Oh yeah, pills coming out everywhere. I think the good ones from Japan, like whatever this thing is,
Yeah.
some kind of seaweed of some sort. But there's the bad one is from Hawaii, and there's like a reason why the one from Japan is the one you want, and the one from Hawaii is no good. But like even the country of origin like could have a strong indicator of the quality of like the sourced ingredient that is in the supplement, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you always want them to be live caught
Right.
because we're not just what we eat, we're what we eat eats.
That's a good point.
So
Damn.
if you're going to the grocery store and you're like, I'm just going to save a few bucks and not get the grass-fed and grass-finished beef, you're doing yourself a disservice because
Right.
most of those other beefs are then fed corn.
Grain-fed,
Grain-fed, right? So they're fed corn or whatever other grains.
Why is that bad? Just so people know the why.
Yeah, so gluten, grains, wheat, especially in the United States, most of them are sprayed with glyphosate.
Right.
And so pesticides are all over them. And most people aren't actually allergic to gluten, but our body will become inflamed
right.
because of the glyphosate. And I personally don't think that corn's really great for anyone.
Sure.
We don't digest it very well. And so that's why that matters, is that the grass, right, that's a whole food.
Yeah.
Whereas the grain is processed. And so, like, there's no point in buying anything that's less than the highest quality for protein. If you're gonna indulge and invest in anything, it's high quality protein.
Okay, that's a good one. So if you're gonna, besides food protein, what about powder protein for protein shakes? It's like meal replacements. Like I'm so big because I don't eat a lot of food. I barely eat, but I get my protein in. Like I'll just get it because I'm on the room, drink out, pow, I'm out.
Yeah.
And I like the feeling of almost feeling like my metabolism is not really on.
Yeah.
It's almost like a fasting hack where if I'm fasted all day and I'm going to start heavy loading on protein, just my system that I've found happiness with.
Yeah.
It's like I don't stress over food, but I know I'm going to get my protein in.
Yeah.
And like I do it on the later part of the day and I'm pop every 2 hours.
Yeah.
And I like my rhythm, but it is really dependent on not food. And so I have to make sure I'm buying really quality protein in my mind. This is like the Eric like hacks of life. Like I can work harder than anyone because I don't have to eat like you. Like everyone's got to eat all the time. It drives me nuts. Like we're moving, motherfucker. Let's go. So pulling back, I need good protein. Is that a good strategy for people like me?
Depends on the quality of the protein.
Okay,
so
right.
Most most protein powders are high temperature processed, which means that the integrity of the protein has been denatured as they're processing it. So there's certain proteins that are low temperature processed, which means they actually are as close to a whole food as possible.
How do you find those? Does it say on there low temp?
It'll usually say what the temperature is.
Okay.
If it is low temperature
If it's
processed.
quality.
If it's not low temperature processed,
Right.
they're not going to put that on there.
What about fermented? Like, so I used to have a protein, and I just can't find it anymore. But it was a fermented.
Okay.
It was a fermented pea protein, and the reason I liked it is because the way it hurts my stomach.
Okay.
It always has. I just don't do go away. But I found that one, and I loved it because it was fermented. So it went through some fermentation of process, obviously. But I feel like it's hard to find that. I've seen it here and there randomly.
Yeah.
But it brings me back to another important thing with the gut is the power of fermentation, like as a daily routine, sauerkraut, all that.
Yeah.
But
One
just
more
that
thing
link.
on the proteins before I move on to sauerkraut.
Let's get it.
I love sauerkraut.
Okay.
Most protein powders and drinks have gums in them and they have sucralose. Sucralose destroys the gut. So the best thing to do is to look for protein options that either have stevia or monk fruit.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, it's funny. I have a protein with no flavor. It's terrible. It's wretched. No, it's gross, dude.
What?
But it's got only a couple ingredients in it. It's just clean as it gets.
See,
It's all
that's-
organic. So
I'm the same way. I'm like, just give it to me clean.
Well,
I don't even care how
if it tastes
sometimes.
like the huckleberry pie, you ever seen these proteins like that? There's no way that's healthy. Like that, you magically made this powder taste like huckleberry pie. Do you know what I mean? It's like a jelly belly. You ever seen? It's like butter popcorn in that little jelly belly. That's gross. How did they make it taste like that? I don't like that.
Yeah.
mission is to try to get him to eat some real food.
Should have seen me eat real food.
I
do.
I
actually
think
did.
that.
Colton sees
What
it.
about just like having a chef?
Well, I do. I eat every day.
You
I mean,
just-
I just do it at night. In the day, I'm like in work mode.
It's so funny because a lot of high performing men that I'm around are the same way. Though they're
We've
eating.
evolved this way.
Their eating window is between
Night.
3 to 10 p.m.
That's me.
That's what
Well,
time.
mine's like 6 to like 10.
Yeah.
Yeah,
3 to
naturally.
10.
You know what? You know why though? It's because I think most of guys like us, if you're describing me, my whole life I brought lunch pails everywhere, and I had canisters of crap, and I just always be thinking that I needed calories to keep muscle and to like be in shape. And what I found was fasting. I feel like it almost preserves muscle. Like, I don't know what's going on, but autophagy is like where I'm like a dangerous killer of a shark. When I'm empty in the stomach and I'm hungry, I become cannibalistic and I go out and fight. And I'm a dangerous person. Like if I want it, I'll get it. But if I'm full, like I gotta lay down, guys. And I hate the feeling of just eating because like the satisfaction you feel is when your eyes get heavy and you're tired, and that's when I'll blow smoke all around you. I will fire through. But I can work through a day. This version of me. But when 10 lunches Eric pulls out of his like 6-pack lunchbox that I used to carry around all the time, always stressing about food, chicken, and oh God, I have horrible memories of like food prepping because that was my whole life because I
Yeah.
was such a fitness guy. I was always in shape and for my whole adult life. And so this fasting became the thing that like okayed something I would have never considered. But when I tried it, what I found is I didn't really lose any muscle. And I didn't like maybe a little bit, but I definitely see difference in my face in the pictures. I was so much more like, you know what I mean? Like, but muscle is just different. And so when you see the benefit of it, you realize like, this is the holy grail for someone that wants to go work if it truly is healthy. Because at the end of the day, like if you can get used to being hungry and not stressing out, but actually like liking the feeling of being light on your feet, like think about it. Our ancestors didn't hunt on full bellies. They hunted hungry. And I want to hunt hungry. And I'm in work mode, I'm hunting. Like I'm not here to be full all day. I'm here to hunt.
Yeah, I always find that I have the most mental clarity about 24 hours into a fast.
So you're a faster.
I am a faster.
I was going to ask.
Yes, I do like to fast. However,
For women, is it good? Because there's mixed messaging on this. At least women of 40, I started hearing like, oh, that's a place. But there's so much like conversation around this topic.
yeah, your body has to be primed for it. So
I get
if you have thyroid issues, if you're in a state of chronic stress and your cortisol's all over the place, it's probably not going to be great. Your body's going to be inflamed. It's not going to know what to do. Your body has to be out of fight or flight mode. It needs to be in like truly a rest or digest mode in order for the fasting to be effective. So once your body's done the healing, then yeah, fasting's great. And like everyone should be incorporating some kind of fasting. Everyone should be fasting for at least 12 hours between dinner and breakfast.
Sure.
That's not too hard to ask of, but I've found that when I do extended fasts, it just like it changes everything for me. The autophagy is amazing. I love it, and it's interesting.
Yeah, and like I don't think a lot of people that don't do it understand the power of autophagy and sort of getting to that state where ketones are naturally being built up as your new energy source. And the inflammation, I think, is the first thing that disappears in me when I do an extended fast. Like you can just see it. Like if I need to like be on stage, I always have or when I travel, I don't eat. Like ask Colton, how many times have you been around me? I don't eat.
No, he doesn't eat, but you usually will celebrate with me
After
the big
we've
thing.
achieved the thing and whatever the goal of the trip was, then it's gummy bears or whatever,
It's
you know.
3 courses.
So
Yeah,
how did you
dessert everything?
How did you
Hard.
mentally work through that with like not eating? Because I think so many people struggle with that.
You know, like you have to have a why that at least empowers you enough to try it long enough to see if it's true. At least this idea that like the mental crystal clarity of sort of a fasted state and the energy on the backside that comes from the ketones that are being burned, it's like nothing I've ever felt. It makes you dangerous as a human. Like you like I'll run circles around this Eric over here who's full because he just ate a weird cheeseburger at the airport and he looks not good. He's struggling. His face looks sweaty and weird. Like that Eric over there that's hungry as an ox, like that's a shark that will kill.
Yeah.
This one over here is a llama bear. And like I don't even know what that is, but it's you know what I'm saying? He's just lazy. And
Yeah.
it's not going good for that guy.
Yeah.
And that was always how I felt. Like every bite was painful because I was always thinking that oh my God, the alarm went off. I got to eat calories. And I never felt good. Like but I did it for like 15 years.
How many meals a day were you eating?
I feel like a lot, but I would eat in the morning. I would have every 3 hours. You know, the lunch pail. All the slots. It had a 6-pack on it. It was called 6-pack fitness.
Every
Everyone
3
was-
hours. So that'd be
everyone
like
was
5 meals.
Yeah, a lot of calories. But again, like I never did bodybuilding. I'm not gonna wear a little bikini on stage. But it wasn't my thing. But I love the idea of pushing the limits of what's possible with my fitness. Just like I want to be on the gray zone. Obviously, I'm not going to be in the white zone. I want to be in the gray zone, but not the black zone, but like the edge of the gray for like performance, but like still starting to integrate longevity into that was always kind of my plan, even before I knew it. I like the idea of living to be 150, but also being jacked at 90 because, you know what I mean? Because I pushed the limits of what's possible.
Yeah.
Is that like a place that you can live and
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right? It's great.
absolutely.
Let's go. But I do like the biohacking concept, biooptimization. I love it. And I think that, you know, even watching my wife, like sort of like take this on, it served her really well, but not at first. Like you said, it was terrible for her at first. And she almost quit on the concept of it all. Like the idea of fasting and like, she hates saunas. Like, I'm like, I love them. But I think naturally when there's a leader in the household that starts taking hold of their health in a way that like, she was always healthy. So she was just always blessed with health. But it wasn't even that. It was like I was just doing things that became so regular that I was deciding to do, whether you do it or not. And I think naturally you can kind of just wear down with benefits that you really believe in, that you feel yourself. And what's so interesting is you see her now at 41 and you look at pictures of her at 30. She was in great shape at 30. She looks so much different now than she did at 30. And like the difference is odd because it's almost like you're younger at 41 than you were at 30. And it's not like she was bad. It was just, it's clearly visible.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
No, it's so powerful.
Yeah. Just the vascularity of like the cheekbone muscle, like just the face, you just see it. And she still is full. It's not like sunken in like Ozempic face.
Yeah.
But I think I literally just think she's found her stride. And once a woman finds it, or a man, really, anybody, it could be different for anybody. It's different for her than me, right? But she played with it for a while. You know what I mean? And she tested and she found she had thyroid issues. Like, you know what I mean? So you start just tampering with things. Anybody could do it, but I think one person's at least got to be the decision maker in a family. I mean, how important is that? If someone's going to be on board, to try to make sure that like the family doesn't drag you down and that you really can rise above and pull them up.
Yeah. Crabs in the bucket. It's so
Is that what you call it?
important. Crabs in the bucket. Yeah. Crabs trying to crawl out of the bucket.
Yeah,
the other
right.
crabs kind of can pull
Don't
it
count
down, not because they don't want to see that crab win, but because it reflects what they're not doing.
Sure.
But oftentimes I do see that when that one person decides I'm going to do something to change my health, the whole family turns around.
Yes.
Like all of a
Love it.
sudden you have people that husbands haven't worked out in years and they're getting to the gym
Sure.
now because their wives are getting into shape.
That's a
or-
good topic. I can hear Ed Milet's voice right now. You're the one.
Yeah.
You're the one. Yes, you're the one, man. Go get it. Someone's got to be the one.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Somebody.
absolutely.
Do you so you come from a family of immigrants, that lineage and sort of that like that way of being that you are now and compared, is your family like this? You know, you have a story and obviously there's a mission behind you, but just kind of tapping into like why you are the way you are. That's
Yeah.
interesting to think about.
Yeah, I think it's so powerful because I've been thinking a lot about like what drives me deeper than just my story. What is it beyond me? And I think when I got my Greek citizenship this year, because I was so excited, it was an excitement I hadn't felt in such a long time. I was like, why am I this excited about this? Like
Dual citizenship.
it doesn't really change anything other than the fact that I can buy property in Greece, I can travel, I could live anywhere in Europe. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Right.
I don't intend on doing that right now. But I was like, there's got to be something a little bit deeper. And, you know, you just mentioned Ed Milet said, like, who's the one? And, like, my father was the one in our family.
cool.
And so because of the changes that he made, he changed the trajectory of our whole family's life. And so I was able to start from a place of such a solid foundation.
That's cool.
And so when I think about the sacrifice that my papu made to hop on a boat and when he was a teenager and he had no clue what he was doing, he still hardly speaks English. But he knew that he wanted something bigger and better for his life. And so that's something that I plug into daily is knowing I will not take for granted what my grandfather sacrificed for me and for the whole Sukulis lineage.
Yeah. Poo-poo, you out there? You
Yeah.
see this? Shout out to you, poo-poo. That's what you call him, poo-poo?
Papu.
Oh, that's cool. I like that. Yeah, my grandma's parents were from Italy, and yeah, I think if you could stay connected to the immigrant spirit, what makes America so great. It is a country of immigrants, and it's a country of people that like fought really hard. And again, getting back to gratitude, I'm like so into history right now. I've always been into history, but like I'm just like I get into the weirdest shows, and I don't know why. I'm like I have to see it through to the end. But I'm on this one. It's like the history of America. Just it goes through all the different things, like in depth, in super detail. And it is just so, I don't know why I get so inspired by like thinking about what it took to create all this. And again, good or bad, like there's a lot of bad throughout history too. It's like hard lessons that I can't do anything about it. Like I can only affect the future, but like I still feel from it. And I think so many people today are so disconnected from their history or their lineage. They don't even ask the right questions. They don't even have a clue what it took to get here. And they're so ungrateful. And I think that's the easiest way to be grateful is to kind of recognize what it took for you to have that emotion right now, the little boy that you're having, throwing a temper tantrum because the Mercedes car is not the color you wanted or whatever. You just see a lot of entitlement naturally. Even where it shouldn't exist, you see it.
Yeah.
Meaning someone may not have a lot of means and somehow they're still being entitled.
Yeah.
They could still be poor and still be entitled. And I know that sounds counterintuitive, but if you listen to how they complain, all of us do it. No one's better than anyone, but like being aware of it is the gift of this whole conversation, I think.
Yeah, I think perspective, that's what it is. I think my parents gave me the gift of perspective from a very young age.
That's the gift.
Yeah,
ultimately,
it was the
right?
gift of perspective. We traveled a lot when I was young.
This is great.
I went to South Africa when I was in high school on a missions trip. I went to Honduras in high school on a missions trip. We traveled to Europe a lot as a family growing up. And I think that I learned more on those trips than I did in any classroom. And that's because I was given the gift of perspective. And so
This is good.
when I was 18 years old and I said, I want to go across the country and go to school on the East Coast, I was then given more perspective because now I'm going coast to coast. So I'm learning so much about so many different people and so many different walks of life. And I think that allows me to be able to understand people at such a deep level and just have an understanding, because I'll be honest, I grew up in a bubble in Silicon Valley. It is a bubble. Like they literally call it the Valley of Silicon Valley. And had my parents not put me in situations where I could go see what it's like in different third world countries where,
Yeah.
oh my goodness, those children lit me up. They had so much joy. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
I
well,
get this.
I
I feel
can
it too.
I can never be ungrateful or sad or sit in
Yes.
a victim mindset ever again.
This is, I think, out of the whole health conversation, the greatest health advice is to become the one and then bring the power of perspective to your children, to anybody. Like, leave that effect. Don't leave them with money or resources. Let them figure it out their own. Leave them the power of perspective, and you've done a great job. And I think that's that one thing that is actually, if you get to the root cause of families where someone in the family made it, patriarch of the family did the thing, and the offspring are also well respected, just respectable humans that have this powerful awareness as you do, that are out there thriving in life, radiating beautiful energy, finding the gold in every situation, but they come from privilege is what they call that. The one thing that keeps that offspring, like, I think, thriving is that somehow the patriarch, the breadwinner of the family, the one, gave somehow powerfully, like, sort of suited perspective and drove it into the heart of the child. And you just described, I think, that actually the only thing that probably matters for a parent is to always make sure perspective gets handed off. Perspective of the truth of, like, how lucky you are. And if you have a system as a child of gratitude, of seeing real poverty in different parts of the world, third world countries, whatever it is, seeing where you came from, just that deep respect, I think that naturally creates a chemistry and a bond between the patriarch and the child and the offspring that is so beautiful. I can already tell how you're talking about your father. That's where real love is curated. That's like the holy grail for a parent to off. So if you're listening, I think you should just tapped into the real gift of health, is making sure that you always bring powerful perspective to everything, which it ultimately makes you very aware as a human, very, very curious, right?
Yeah,
Would you describe?
that's exactly it.
That's cool. That's a huge shout out. I think that's one of my favorite. Sometimes you just dig up things that are a little off, but, like, they're everything also. Because you see it. Like, you see a lot of families where there's a lot of spoiled brats from the one that created all this. And it's this idea that I heard a client of mine. He's a young kid. He's doing really well, but he's young. He's the youngest guy I work with, and he told me something that it was so fundamentally wrong. But he goes, I don't want my kids to struggle. He just has no kids. I don't want my kids to struggle the way that I did. I was like, oh yeah? He goes, like, yeah, man, I don't want them to get made fun of because they don't have the newest Nikes. Like, I want them to have. I was like, oh, dude, don't say that. The newest Nikes, like, they shouldn't have the newest Nikes ever. I hammered him. I was like, you're missing it, bro. Like, that ain't it.
Yeah, no, my parent.
That's not why to get successful, so they don't have to not have their Nikes. No.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Yeah.
No, and I think there's something to be said about actually, like, working hard for what you want. People might look at me from the outside saying, oh, that woman has everything that she could ask for. And no, it's because I worked my butt off for
Right.
everything.
You still
and
had to work.
Yeah.
Still a lesson and everything.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you. I actually argued that if you come from privilege, like extreme privilege, I have another client that he has one of the saddest stories I've ever heard, and he's a trust fund baby. And when you hear his story, it'll make you cry. Actually, I think it'll be one of the most powerful keynotes in the world because he often gets looked at as the one must be nice, and I'm saying no. And I say this with all my heart, especially because I have perspective through his story.
Yeah.
I'd rather grow up with nothing in the gutter, no family, than what he went through. And it's hard to, like, understand what that means until you hear his story. And I keep encouraging him, like, we got to turn this into the most powerful keynote in the world. Because, like, until you sat in someone else's shoes, you probably shouldn't judge.
Yep.
And, like, he really taught me that. You know what I mean? Because it's so easy to say that must be nice, not realizing, like, he's never understood what it's like to achieve. Everything has been handed to him. Like, he's lost the ability to understand the power of struggle. And that may be the greatest gift in the journey to success. It's the one thing he'll never have. Everything is laid out for him. And he's been used his whole life. No one's ever really liked him. They just use him. And he learned to have this muscle of giving away to be liked. And what ended up happening is he ruined his life. But there was that sort of inability to ever feel what it felt like to gain ground on a goal that is lofty. And that setup is wretched. A trust fund baby setup is wretched in most cases. But at the end of the day, like, perspective, it changes the playing field because it allows, number one, you to really have the same benefits of coming from nothing, even if your dad has done well or your mom has done well, because there's still a process of earning. And if you don't earn, it's just given, you don't appreciate it.
Yep.
And I actually have come up with this creed. I think it's just valuable to hear, is like, if I didn't earn it, I don't think I want it. Because like, nothing ever really feels that great anyway, even if I earned it. And I'm so aware of that stuff doesn't make me happy now. I'm happy that I got here, because I don't know if I could buy anything else that really is going to feel anything different than the last thing. And that's a cool place to get, because it's where permission started coming in. It's where purpose started coming in. And everything changed when I started asking the right question. Again, that level of awareness. Speaking of this, I think it's a good segue just to get you there, is just your story. Usually I start with the mission. Obviously, we went backwards. We get a ton of value up front about health. And there's still so many more things we'll have to like circle back for sure. Like I want to ask you about NMN and all this thing, but I want to get to your story. You obviously, so many people, the mission in their life is connected to the pain in their life. It's something they went through. And that becomes the thing that they want to help in others, that they want to like fix in others. That becomes this like undying desire to like solve the thing that almost killed you. And so maybe tap into like your connection into this space.
Yeah, so I was, as we had mentioned, I was a finalist for the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. I was working in private equity.
You love dance, by the way.
I love dance. I love
gotta
dance.
check her out.
I took my first dance class at 18 months old and really never looked back. It was one of those things that was a consistent throughout my entire life. And I thought I was done in 2020. I coached for a year, and then I said, oh, I miss dance again. That is how I ended up in Dallas, Texas, is because I wanted to train. There's a very large adult dance community out there. Ended up becoming finalist for the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Was in really great shape, so I thought my health looked like it was great from the outside in. And that's where the HRV moment comes back in, where a month and a half, 2 months after, my HRV plummeted. And I was like, there is something that's not okay. So I went from one doctor to the next doctor to the next doctor. Was really just dismissed. Oh, you're fine. Everything looks normal. And finally, I went back to an old functional practitioner, actually. And I told her what was going on. And she was like, well, like, did you change up your diet at all? I'm like, I added a little bit of Greek yogurt back in. She's like, that's the culprit. I'm sure it's Greek yogurt. So I take Greek yogurt back in. Everything just keeps getting worse and worse. So first it was my HRV. Then my energy plummeted. All of a sudden, like, the weight just starts piling on top of me. And my gut was, like, distended by 4 inches, which was crazy. And so I started to just not even recognize myself. And I'd gone from, training every day, fueling my body well, working at a private equity firm that was, like, you need your brain in order to work at that level, right? And so my productivity tanked. Like, I couldn't think. I thought that I felt like I had Alzheimer's or dementia. It was really hard. I started canceling plans on friends because I literally didn't have the energy to even get out of bed. And every doctor I'd gone to was just like, oh, you're fine. I'm like, no, there is something seriously wrong. So that's when I found functional medicine, got testing done. And really, I knew that it was something with my gut, right? Because the bloating was like kind of the most annoying thing, the most visible thing. And so I started doing research. I'm like, oh, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. I'm like, I just need to get testing done. So that's when we uncovered that there was a bacterial pathogen that had kind of wreaked havoc in my gut. I think I might have got it when I was in Europe from like drinking water or something. But that was just kind of the last, it was the tip of the iceberg, right? There was so many other things going on. We found out I had adrenal fatigue. We found out that my estrogen levels were postmenopausal, which was insane to be that low. My thyroid was a little bit sluggish. So there was just like a whole cascading effect. And I remember I walked into my OBGYN's office, handed her the test results. I said, look at these. She's like, what are you concerned about? I said, my estrogen levels are postmenopausal. She said, well, are you trying to get pregnant right now? I said, no, but your hormones are for so much more than just that, right? And so that was the day that I knew, like, I left that doctor's office and I said, if I'm going to heal, it's going to be up to me. And so that's when I kind of took matters into my own hands and got connected with the right people in the functional medicine space and went and got certified myself
So
under.
you found a love for the process of like you became infatuated with it.
I became, yeah, because I was obsessed with healing my body because I'd gone from peak health and like as a dancer, right? Like you're constantly in a mirror, you're constantly performing, you're in front of people. Like your confidence in how well you perform is directly tied to how well you look. I hate to say it, like whether you like that or not, that's just how it is. The better you look in a mirror is like that confidence is going to exude. And so when I knew I was doing all the things that I needed to be doing and I was no longer looking the way that I liked to look, and more so it's just like I know how I like to feel. I felt like a prisoner in my own body. It was crazy. Yeah. And no matter what I did, nothing worked. And so, yeah, I became obsessed. And so I started reading everything I could about the gut. And then I started learning about how the gut talks to my brain, because worse than anything else was my brain fog. It was so awful. I seriously, like, I've always been that person that's like so efficient, so effective, and no matter what I do, and it's because I took such great care of my health. And then when my gut was destroyed, my brain was like, bye. Like, it was crazy. And so for me, it was like I just needed to heal my brain as quick as possible, and the way to do that was to heal my gut.
Yeah, and so did everything dramatically change when you started, getting into the concept of functional medicine?
Yeah, I mean, I said, I'll give myself 6 months. I'll be back 2A. I'll be able to audition again the next year for the Cowboys. And it actually ended up taking me 18 months for my body to heal. It took a really long time, and that's because after my body began to heal from the bacterial pathogen, I found out I had black mold. And so it was just one thing after another. But I'm really grateful for that black mold, actually, because I was at a conference and a doctor overheard me talking about how I had gotten black mold. And he said, oh, my wife actually just had black mold. He goes, I do stem cells and peptides, and we really helped her heal. Let's have a conversation. So we set up a call the next week.
With peptides?
With peptides.
Right. So it opened the whole world up.
So it opened up that entire world to me.
So what peptide? Just curious.
It's VIP. Yeah. It's...
I heard that one.
Yeah. Basal intestinal
That's
peptide.
That's good to know. I mean,
Yeah.
probably a lot of people right now that might peak.
Yep. If you have mold, well,
that.
it's crazy because I had like seven or eight different strands of mold.
Yeah.
And it took some of the markers that were way in the red and took it all the way down to like almost non-existent.
Amazing.
3-month protocol. It was
crazy.
incredible. But I will tell you that my body was primed to be able to work that effectively with the peptide, because I had spent the past however many months actually healing my body and healing my gut. And so because of that, the toxins were primed to be able to clear out of my body.
Sure.
Yeah.
So it's important to just know that if you just think you're going to go take one magical solution, peptide or pill is not going to work. You're going to be let down.
Yeah.
Set you up for failure.
Yeah.
I had a client in Canada who was same symptoms as you. He finally figured it out, and it happened to be 5 different types of mold or something like that. You know what I mean?
It's crazy how much mold is in our buildings, how much
Food
it's
even,
in our coffee, in the grains. Coffee was a big one once I found out it was coffee.
Yeah.
I've definitely switched up which coffees I like because of that.
Well, everything at the end of the day, like is leading to quality of life. So if there's something off, like ask a plethora of questions, right?
Absolutely.
And once you find a solution, like don't make that habit. Like change it. Like don't buy that again. Like solve the problem by being aware and then taking some action that becomes like an SOP in your life.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like it's not that hard when you really buy into it. But one thing you've said that I think is interesting, and I spot this a lot, is when almost everyone that's ever sat in this chair, it's always the same. There's one universal truth. that if somehow that sort of it creates this environment, and that is this obsessive nature with what you do. It's probably the wrong word. There's probably a healthier word, because I think obsession gets the wrong word. But like, even with the work that I'm doing now, it was so left field to get into it, but it's something I'll do for the rest of my life. This idea of obsession is cool, because the people that like really find what they're meant to do with their life, their purpose, it's sort of like geared around who they serve and what value they bring in the world, that now becomes something that creates demand and saves lives and changes people's lives and adds value, and ultimately probably affects even the more like bottom lines of your mission and purpose, like all the way down to like helping children. Like the idea that you're helping so many parents or like you just that have the ability now to like that energy spark, even that alone of what actions happen after that, touch so many more lives in so many powerful way. And if you think about where the direct link went, it might have been with you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just like, so you believe so deep in your work. There's such a mission that is so powerful, that is sort of the centerpiece of why you do what you do, that you override all the insecurities of playing small that sort of come with the territory of being bold. And they're linked to a mission. And that is one of the holy grails of life. And you can't really be a Tom Brady in life without it. You can't, whatever it is that you do. And I think that, like, at the end of that, that is what I love to sort of inspire through this show. It's the whole concept of mission, is like even connecting it beneath the surface of who you are. That is why you're so good at it. That is, you know what I mean? It's like your commitment to it is so profound. It's so divine in nature. But usually that divinity actually comes from the years of pain and trauma that someone went through, that connected sort of the spirit of why they're doing it to, like, you know, the girl that they used to be, the guy that they used to be, like that child that I used to be.
Yeah.
And that connection's powerful.
I couldn't even imagine trying to help someone having not walked
Right.
through it
Fair
myself. I don't know
Still
how.
noble, but right. But I get what you're saying.
But
yeah.
I will never tell a client to do something that I
Yeah, I'm
first
big on
haven't
that.
done myself.
Me too.
And so every single protocol that I will walk my clients through, I have done.
Yep.
And right now I've been like, because I've seen how effective peptides are for mold toxicity.
Sure.
And so now I'm walking through, because I did another panel and got more molds, because my body's just really susceptible to mold. And so I'm walking through a different protocol right now to see how effective that one is compared to mold. And I already can feel that the peptide is better, but I'm going to see this through to be able to see, to actually have the data, because,
Well, I wonder how many people are feeling symptoms and have no idea how common this actually is, because they're just not testing for it, and they're letting a life go of sort of subpar energy, subpar connection to outcomes that come from like really like being in the game, like all in. Which, if you don't feel good, what is the first thing that dies in a person when they don't feel good? Their performance, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's the first thing that goes when you don't feel good. Like, it sucks to not feel good. I mean, I don't even want to go pick you up from the airport if I don't feel good.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I gotta do that. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
it's so true.
if you feel good though, and you're teeming with juice, like, you just bounce around like a little bee. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, your ability to be so much more impactful in this world and be good at what you do. So this is the link that should be a first priority for anyone, because like a sick or dead parent is not that valuable. I mean, they're not. So that's why not make that the priority, that and really connect that in and of itself to being a better father, better parent. It's just like making sure that like you're living optimally to your highest and best use. So you'll be around with as many quality years as you described, and as many years with quality attached to them for the people you care about.
Yeah.
So like if you're not taking care of yourself, maybe you're actually hurting your children. Like if you put a powerful reason to why you're going to do hard things, likelihood of you doing it will complete a complete different outcome. Like instead of just working out for the body, like put a real meaning behind it of why you're doing it. I don't know. It's sort of my approach to anything is I want to know a deeper why, or I don't want surface level anything.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you don't have your health, nothing else matters. And it's so funny because people will like throw so much money at like the S&P 500 or in their stocks or investments, right? Like all of that.
Or Nikes.
Or materialistic things that as well. But
Stuff that doesn't matter.
stuff that really doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, if you don't have your health, nothing matters. And
And the cost of being sick is way more than the cost of like learning this stuff now
Yeah.
and making the investments up front.
Yeah, you either invest in it now or you're going to pay for it later. But when you're paying for it later, you're not going to be traveling the world or enjoying your life. You're going to be sitting in a hospital bed,
Yeah.
which is so sad. And, you know, it really hit me about, it was like 100 or so days ago. I had a photo shoot, and the guy that was taking photos of me, he was working in the CIA, and he's also a big photographer in the pageant world. And he was sharing, Amanda, like, I'm so excited. I get to retire from the CIA in October when I turn 50. And when that happens, I will start my podcast. He's like lighting up, telling me about how he was so excited about what was to come. 12 hours later, he died.
Yeah, that's a big one.
I was one of the last people on this planet to have a conversation with him.
Yeah.
And to be able to spend time with him, and it just hit me like how powerful that
Yeah.
is. Like, really, we're not guaranteed tomorrow.
No.
And
No.
so why keep putting that thing
Let's
off
go.
that you know
Yeah.
you need to do for your
Yeah.
health?
Oh man, you keep tapping into gold. These are like all singular podcast episodes, but like death is the greatest action, like sort of like system I build in me to take action. And it's the bold action, I think, that always comes from a system of like being aware of death. You know, Marcus Aurelius has become one of my favorite philosophers, only in that, like his work, which I think most of it was really inspired by a slave, Epictetus. I just love the connection between like someone being born a slave and someone being born an emperor, and the perspective shifts of those two and how they came together. That was genius. One of the best stories in the world. But in meditations, the whole concept of momentum mori, that death is in everything. I don't care how afraid I am, man. The second I psychologically put it in my brain, the conversation of death, like my ability to jump into it and be present and give it everything I got and just anchor is so much more valuable than all the emotions that sort of like create all this superficial garbage that oftentimes really stop you from showing up correctly or stop you from showing up at all. That's the worst one, is you don't go. You don't make the phone call. And so if you can always have a system that Marcus Aurelius relied on to not get jaded for in his situation, right? Because they get different perspectives, it means you use that weapon differently depending on where you're at in life. Like it may be completely different for someone who's made it already to embed that than to someone who has nothing. So how you play that, either way, it's valuable though. It's the most valuable gift in the world is to the idea, and I've said this the other day, it was cool to like just get this out, but like, imagine yourself as dead already. You've lived your life. And this was a direct quote from Marcus Aurelius. Imagine yourself as dead already. You've lived your life. Now, take what's left and go live properly. And I've always thought, like, since I first heard that, I was like, oh, that was really powerful. And like, I hear those words. So like, whatever the words are for you, and I also hear the words of Jessie Lee. I know we've talked about her. She was really impactful in my life. But when I met her, she was at the height of her sort of power in life. She was the best she'd ever looked, best she'd ever felt. She'd always battled with weight, and she'd finally like figured it out. And it wasn't long after that, you know, when she randomly gets this stage 4 cancer diagnosis. You know, it's just, I mean, who would have thought, right? Like, why? She's 34. And I watched that a year of her battle at Holistic when she was doing really good, but she's still somehow, you know, God still pulled her back up there. And that year changed me too. It's a lot of the reason I'm doing all this is because I always think about stuff like that. You know, just, it's death. It's it. It's what makes me move. It does everything I need to do. My grandma's death, every death, they all stack up in my soul. And I don't know. It's like, all right, what am I going to do with my life? Because I think a lot of people, like, the worst thing you can do is get to the end of life and like live a life of fear. The whole thing was scared. And if you think about the actions of most people, they're really safe because we're so afraid what people think.
Yeah, I was on my flight over yesterday, and the man that I was sitting next to, he was asking me about what I did, and then he was sharing about whatever he did in corporate America. And he said something about, oh, wow, like, you're really lucky. And I don't really like that word lucky, because no, I just had the courage to step into what I knew to be my highest calling. And that is because I think often about death.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. Like, I think about when I get to the end of my life, I want God to be able to say, Amanda, you've done everything that I had for you. I would hate to be like let down in that way. And so that's powerful. That pushes me. And also, like you said, like your grandparents, your ancestors, right? Like my grandmother passed away last year, and she's with me every day, and I've never felt how powerful that was. I saw her pretty much go up to heaven. It was so beautiful, but being able to have that, it grounds me in and it propels me further. And I think that if more people looked and thought about death,
There'd be no hate.
there would be no hate.
Nope. It would
And-
solve every problem in the world.
And people would actually go do something great with their life.
Yeah, you don't have to be us, by the way. You're going to find your own path. It's going to have meaning in it. Does not matter what that means to us, or it's irrelevant. It'll have real intrinsic value to you, deep meaning to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's what matters.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, this is like part of the health conversation. I mean, it's like I always thought too, like when it comes to faith, like people challenge me on this quite a bit now. These days I see it, little comment up. It comes more and more because I don't talk about it as much as like the action I'm in control of and the systems that I actually use on the regular. Is at the end of the day, like I don't think that's a God problem often. I'm not going to pray for that. Like I don't want to save that for good stuff. Like this is a me thing right now. Like I have the power to go do that action. Like I'm not going to say I don't want to always put it over there. So I'll save that for stuff that's deeply personal. Like you know what I mean. And there's a lot of tragedy in the world that I don't understand either because there's a lot of kids that suffer.
Yeah.
And that was always bothering me. So like, what can I do? And sort of grounded with faith, but there's also this component of like, at the end of the day, like it's all inside me. If I can get this right up here, the chemistry in my mind, then everything's already in my heart. So I just got to get these two things to sort of work together. And like the best way for me at the end of the day was to sort of take real ownership of it and not sort of like pass that off to anybody. And you know, there's an underlying faith beneath the whole thing, and that's just my system. At the end of the day, like. This one's getting stronger, but I had to build that. Like it didn't just happen for me because I asked so many questions that nobody really answered. No priest ever answered when I grew up Catholic. Like you just problems, like tragedy in the world that are hard to like stomach because you see how much pain and how much killing, you know, a lot of the religions of the world that sort of pain. So like fundamentally your own sort of thesis for life, so important, like however you get it, but one universal truth. No matter what your faith, what you believe, death will change you in a second. If you really put your mind to this in your own mortality, in your own life, you'll hug differently. You'll look at your mother differently. You'll talk differently to your husband. Everything changes in that moment. All your grievances go away. Your petty nonsense disappears. And your ability to think very clearly about your next step and how you're going to approach it changes. And again, like I forget it every day. But I don't get too far away before I can course correct. That's good enough right now. It's really gotten me to where I'm at in life in a lot of respects, but it really brought me to purpose. It brought me to the idea of mission. And it's really what connected me to some of the best people I've ever known in my life are now in this sphere of influence around me because the one thing that I think is more common than most people ever recognize is sort of the nature of life and death and how people that are very high performers with serving sort of it is the number one component that sort of drives their action is death itself. And then again, I think you could add in all the other powerful components that a strong faith and really a love for Jesus and God, that connection into this process. But that awareness alone doesn't matter who you are in the world. That's why I like it. It doesn't have to be like, you could be a Buddhist, you could be a Muslim, you could be a Christian. Anybody in the world can be a better person in a second if they make that as part of the decision-making process.
Yeah, and then taking radical responsibility with whatever comes from that.
100%, yeah. It was worth saying all this because we triggered it.
Yeah.
So, well, that was an amazing interview. How do people find you if we want to because I guarantee if anybody listening to this, there's going to be a part of everyone, including myself. Man, I just bring her into my world and add that to my arsenal of, we all need people that make us better.
Yeah, best way to find me is on Instagram at Amanda Souks, Souks.
Yep. And also, we'll leave show notes and all the things. But thank you for doing this. You're an amazing human. You're a gift to this world. And also, at the end of the day, like thinking about just doctors, health, all that, you'd be much more better to have an Amanda in your life, kind of working your daily routine to the highest and best you than any doctor in the world. Like you actually helped me even in this conversation, like redefine like what it means to have like private healthcare in my life. You know what I mean? Because I'm in that path right now, and it's not anything great. But it's like all, you know, what's it called? Just to end with this, it's like the fancy word, like we're concierge, concierge health. I got the doctors in my. There's nothing there except if I need a prescription or an inhaler or something. What is this? Like I can call you in the middle of the night. Like they're not coaching me. They're not like bleeding into me. Like that's the investment I want to make. Challenge this audience to make that investment. Go find your Amanda in life. Let's go. Thank you so much, Amanda.
Thank you.
Let's get it. Until next time. All right, guys, if you enjoyed the show, please like, follow. This thing doesn't do good if you don't share the message. If you liked Amanda, please tell her. Tap the button, the hearts, the likes, all that. It helps the algorithm. It helps her. These are people in the world that I think are fighting evil. It is the common denominator between doers in this world is somehow the byproduct of everything I do reaches the children, and that's the whole point of this whole thing. So thank you for listening. Go love, honor. We'll see you next time.